Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hey everyone, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It's the Daily Wolves Show as always. I am your host Chris, and with me as always is Will. Hey Will.
Yes, hello. Happy Wednesday, Chris.
Happy Wednesday to you and everyone out there listening, because we are excited that we are creeping closer to the return of the Premier League this weekend. Yes. I can feel the excitement within you, Will.
Yeah, it's going to be good to be back at Molineux.
It is. It's going to be a joyous occasion, I am sure. I'm until anything bad happens, I'm just going to say it's going to be joyous.
Yeah.
That's the way forward. Positivity, people. If you believe it, it will happen.
Yeah, look, we both believe it. I do at least. This is the game we're getting 3 points from for the month.
Yeah, as I said in our predictions yesterday, I'd rather take it from the Villa, but I'll be happy if we take it from Newcastle as well. That'd be fantastic. Before we dive into it's Wildcard Wednesday, so we're going to do a fun little thing in a bit. We're going to create a kind of we're going to be the Frankenstein of football and create our dream monster from the Wolves team.
Yeah.
Which is going to be fun. But before we do that, a couple of summaries to note on, obviously, we've got various players still away on international duty from the international break. Mosquera, most notably, I don't know if you saw this, Will, scored his first goal for Colombia.
I did see that. It was in a 2-1 win against Argentina.
It was indeed.
However, Chris, I've also, just prior to the recording, seen that he got stretchered off. I don't know if you know that. Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, so did I. I can't believe, everyone was raving about his goal, but he came off injured.
Oh no, that is breaking news, because that in all the stuff I was looking at, as you say, everyone's just going on about the goal.
Look, I just saw it just before we started recording. I don't know the severity of it. I find it. I've only seen one post about it, so I'm not sure how what the actual facts are, but it doesn't sound good. Hopefully, I've seen a sort of bit of fake news. I don't know. That's what the reports were, at least.
Yeah, we'll keep checking. Hopefully, the great thing is we are daily, so maybe by tomorrow's episode, we'll have some more news to bring you on that. Fingers crossed it is just a precaution, but we don't know. However, focusing back on the positive of that, he scored a goal. I don't know if you saw the actual goal. He leapt ridiculously high into the air.
I saw it.
Obviously, he does look strong in the air. Should potentially have scored already this season. I think he's had a couple of chances, and I'm just glad for him. Barring any injury, it's good to see. As you say, it helped Colombia secure a win over Argentina, which I believe is, according to the stats that I found, only the second time Colombia have beaten Argentina in 90 minutes since 2007.
Yes, I also saw that.
Yeah, so that's going back a bit. He had a good performance. Most clearances in the game with 8, 3 of 3 duels won, 4 recoveries, no fouls committed, which is quite amazing considering how hands-on he seems to be.
Yeah, especially in a sort of South American game as well. They're sort of typically quite aggressive.
Yeah. So providing he comes through unscathed, hopefully it's just going to add to his morale and everything coming back to Wolves, because I love to see it.
Yeah.
And he's a bit of a beast, and I like the fact he seems to want to bully everyone. He's not taking any mess. And that's fantastic.
No.
Also of note, Carlos Forbes scoring a late goal for Portugal under 21s as they beat Croatia, and which is again just good to see one of the new signings involved in the action. Ironically, I don't know if you noted, he replaced Fabio Silva in that game. He was the sub that came on in place of our beloved Fabio.
No, I didn't see that. Although, I mean, it sounds about right.
Sign of the
coming
times.
Off and Forbes coming on,
and then Forbes scoring.
Yeah.
And Rodrigo Gomez played the full 90 in that game as well, which is good. Also, Will, did you notice, or have you remembered, I'm sure you have, that today Wolves are unveiling their third kit?
Yes. Have you seen the sort
The
of
rumored images.
yeah,
Yeah, because as always with these things, nothing has been officially unveiled yet. It's at 8 p.m. UK time today, Wednesday, the 11th of September, as this is going out, and so it's not been officially unveiled. But as always, things start to leak on Twitter, and people
yeah.
showing images of what they think it's going to be, what it is, from probably warehouses, people unpacking things, whatever. Yeah, it doesn't fill me with joy.
I was going to say what he thought because what on earth is that? If anyone hasn't seen it, it. It looks like a sort of packet of fruit pastels or something. Like I just don't understand the color combo. There's sort of a light purpley, sort of
Yeah.
dark pink with a bright orange accent for the logo of the the badge and the sudo and the sponsor. It's what annoys me is it on paper before they sort of there's any leaked images. I had really high hopes for it to be like really nice and really well done,
Mhm.
but I have to say it's not filling me with joy.
No, the crazy thing is, and like, there's some people out there that put some great concept designs up, ideas which are fantastic and would be so much better. And yeah, the image of the shirt, for anyone that hasn't seen it, will try and describe it, is very plain. That's the other thing, is there's like nothing on
Yeah,
it. It's just a
yeah,
solid color of a purpley kind of lilac shade with an orange looking writing and
but
fonts on. So the logo is in orange, the Debet and Sudo is all in orange on this lilac shade.
it's not just orange; it's bright orange
Yeah, it's like a
as
neon
well.
orange.
Yeah, it's
And
ridiculous.
also there's no look, it doesn't seem to have any texture to it. There's
No,
no hidden
no, no,
words
no.
on it. There's no, there's no, there's nothing. You know how the main kit at the moment, you feel at the fabric, it's got that
Mm.
pattern. It's like a pattern kind of embroidered into it or printed into it.
Yeah,
There's texture, it has texture. This just looks to be plain, smooth, and there's nothing to it except the color. The
no,
only thing I can think is, not only do people lack imagination, is that, as we've seen in recent years, there's often been, say, like we had a pink, like the pink away kit, not just the goalie kits, but we've had various pink goalkeeper outfits, but also lighter shades, and it very much appeals to, without trying to be judgmental, like the younger market, children. Sometimes they aim a print at the feminine market as well. So there's different aesthetics come in there. That's the only thing I can think that they're trying to
yeah,
lean
but
into with these kits.
I wouldn't mind that, but it's just not nice. You know, you
No.
could do that and still make it
Oh yeah.
just look good. But like you said, there's just nothing. It's got nothing about it. It's got a weird color scheme and no like sort of unique selling point in terms of patterns or anything. It's just weird as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it is strange, which is a contrast to the other away kit we have at the moment, the black with the wolf on. I actually really like that one. I think that's a really nice top. Is that the second one?
Yes,
The second away kit. It's got the wolf coming across the chest.
yeah, I have to say, I like the idea in theory. I just don't think the execution of it is that good, me personally. But I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I just think, Sudo, a new sort of in-house manufacturer, if you like.
Hmm.
Um, as you mentioned before, you've got people online who just in their spare time, as a hobby, create really nice and interesting and unique designs. And it
Yeah, yeah.
seems like so. I don't want to say it seems easy because I think credit to those people who put in that work. But do you know what I mean? I think it's easier to get it right than it is to get it wrong.
Yeah, well, you would think so. You would think
Yeah,
so. But you've only got to
yeah,
look at some. We're not the only team in the Premier League that has some shocking kits sometimes.
no,
So it is weird, and designers, some designing companies, get paid absolute fortunes to produce stuff that really
well,
isn't that impressive.
do you remember the away kit, the Adidas away kit we had in lockdown? The blue and white one, the sort of had like little sky blue patches on it
Oh yes,
randomly.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
what on earth? I weirdly liked that one, but I don't know what it was supposed to be.
I hated that one, and I feel like that was a Marmite top because some of my best mates bought that one and loved it, and I think they're trying to just pretend to be 15, middle-aged men trying to pretend to be 12 or something, and they're like, "I'm cool." I'm like, "No, you're not. You're really not cool, dude. You cannot carry that off."
No, but I think
Especially
what
not
it
with your beer
was,
belly.
I think what it was it was that bad that it was good in a weird way,
No,
which
no,
isn't the
it was
same.
just not
Isn't
good.
the same for this one because this one's just got nothing about it.
Yeah, I might maybe I'm in the minority, but personally, as a curmudgeonly old middle-aged man, that top that you're talking about
No,
with the blue and white
yeah,
clouds, it was like a blue cow, was
yeah.
um was absolutely atrocious. And to anyone that wore it, I'm sorry for you.
Well, I
Um,
apologize.
yeah, you're welcome. That's okay because you're still nearly 15, so it's fine. You can get away with it.
Close enough, yeah.
All right, people, before we go any further, just to remind you, if you, like us with our random stories about cow away strips, have stories to tell that the world needs to hear, have you struggled with reaching new audiences who are engaged with your story? It might be time for you to start a podcast. Let me tell you about a platform we use here at Global Sports Podcast Network. Zencastr makes it easy to start a high-quality podcast built for growth from day one, with 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes ums, ahs, you knows, and 22 other speech patterns. Zencastr makes it super easy to start a podcast that sounds great. Ready to tell your story? Check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr. All right, well, so it's Wildcard Wednesday, and you and I discuss every now and again some of the topics we can do, for our Wildcard Wednesdays. And we came up with the idea of putting together. We are each going to be Dr. Frankenstein,
Yes.
and we're going to work this off the current squad. By the way, we've done nostalgic stuff before, but to keep this simple, we can do maybe a more historical one next time. That or in future we can do more than one of these.
Yeah.
It works in different levels. But we're going to work on the current squad, and we're going to put together our ultimate Wolves player from the squad at the moment, and our Wolves monster.
Yes.
Right. The facets that we're going to put together. I'm not going to give you my choices. I'm just going to, so people understand the concept.
Yeah,
We're going
run
to
through
put
the
together.
categories.
Yeah. So right foot, left foot, IQ, speed, strength, crossing, passing, skill, dribbling, tackling, finishing, and heading. So we have each put together a list of who we would take those facets from to create our ultimate monster from the current Wolves squad. Did that make sense, Will?
It made sense to me. I think it will make sense to the listeners as well.
I'm glad it made sense to you because you're also putting it together at least.
Yeah,
If it doesn't make sense, then you're in trouble. All right. Do you want me to go first, or are you going first?
No, you can, take it away, my friend. Right foot, I think you go, then I'll go.
All right, cool. So, putting together my Wolves monster. The right foot. It'll be interesting, by the way, before I unveil my first one, to see at the end how many, or as we go, how many correlate. I think obviously there's some clear, without doubt, within the squad we have right now, there's going to be some clear choices, but there's going to be maybe a few oddballs that we pick out.
No, we'll see.
Okay, my right foot, I've gone for Tommy Doyle.
My right foot, I've gone for Tommy Doyle.
Hey, look at that. Look at that. First one off the bat.
Yeah, he's got a lovely technique, hasn't he?
He has. I mean, and that spectacular goal in the cup last season, and he does have a good shot on him, and I just want more of that. I want more.
Actually, Chris, that goal against Brentford was with his left.
Was it? Oh, it was with his left, wasn't it?
I remember.
Which was just amazing. The fact that he did that with his left foot, because he shaped to take it on his right, and then had to shimmy to the left. But yeah, even so, he has got a great right foot.
Yeah.
But oh well, I shot myself in the foot there, didn't I? I see what I did. My left foot, and I think this will potentially be another match. I have gone for Pablo Sarabia.
I have gone for Pablo Sarabia.
Hey, we did not discuss who our choices were beforehand, but I think from the current squad there is some clear winners.
There's some clear standouts, but then there are going to be ones where we sort of differ. I think one of those could be the next one, Chris, perhaps.
Okay. Well, we'll see, because I was just thinking it might be a match again. For
Oh,
footballing,
okay.
IQ, I've also gone for Pablo Sarabia.
Perhaps we won't differ because I have also gone for Sarabia. You know who I was close to going with,
Go on,
which might be a bit rogue, Lamina, because
Lamina.
defensively, especially, always in the right place, always reads the attacks really, really, really well, and
Mm,
shuts them down really
mm,
well. I suppose it's a different kind of mindset. Um,
yeah, yeah.
but
But I
yeah,
think it is Pablo, and I feel like at times he, he sees things that the other players don't, and so I
yeah,
feel like we don't always get the best of what he can bring,
mm,
because of what goes on around him, because there's
no, I
only
know what
so
you
much you
mean.
can do. If he sees the space that he could play someone into, it doesn't matter if they're not making the run, he can't do it. But we've
Yeah,
seen when he's got some beautiful lofted through balls sometimes, where he just
hmm
chips over the back line and someone runs onto it. His vision is great, and he's always finding space.
yeah,
um
yeah.
I
I
think.
mean, the pass to Lamina last season to win it in the last minute against Spurs at home was
Mhm.
such a cute little through ball, and to see that and to think and to do it and execute it well in the moment, it's unreal, to be fair, because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
makes it look a lot easier than it is.
He does, and we spoke about his left foot. I know he used both in the setup of it, but the goal against Tottenham last season as well just
Mm, mm,
exemplified that. His touch overall fantastic.
yeah,
All right, moving on. Speed. Now, this is a tough. I found this tough because I didn't.
yeah,
Again, we've gone off. I don't know about. Well, I think Will did the same. I didn't necessarily go and look at. I wanted this to be just from memory of who looks when I look at the game. Not looking at stats. Not going to look at like the clock of someone's run 8 miles an hour. That's really slow.
yeah,
Whatever it would be. You know. Just who do I think of that is like they're quick when they get going? And so I ummed and ahed, and they might not be the fastest, but once they get going,
yeah,
they they just they're on, they're charging, and they
yeah,
get dynamic. And obviously we don't have, it would have been Pedro Neto, but he's no longer
yes,
part of the squad.
yes.
So Mateus Cunha.
Okay, yeah, 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 yeah. I can see
See where
it.
I'm going with that? See where I'm going with that?
Yeah, uh, um, I'm gonna, I think, throw a slight curveball because it's a player who we mentioned we don't think we've seen enough of.
Mm,
It's Rodrigo Gomez.
good shout.
He looks
Good shout.
quick. Looks
He does look
very
quick.
quick. Just exactly what you want from a winger. Quick off the mark over sort of 20 yards or so. That short sprint speed. It looks good.
Yeah, he does look quick. Yeah, I went for Cunha just because I think about his
Yeah,
driving runs, when he
yeah,
starts from deep and runs
yeah.
past everyone, and he's sometimes untouchable. We saw that goal end of last season, and I've completely forgotten who it was against, where he ran like the full length of the pitch
Was it
almost.
Forest?
Forest, that's it, thank you. And again, a big part of that was just because of his pace.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so yeah, Cunha for me, but I totally agree with you that Gomez looks. Again, we
Mm.
haven't seen much of him, but he does look
I,
quick.
I, I want to give an honourable mention to you. You spoke about once they get going.
Hmm.
Because I was very close to putting Semedo.
Yeah,
I think once he gets going down that right hand side, he does pick up a high top speed.
he does. I will grant you that honorary mention.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, strength. Now this is a tricky one. And again, not looking at like bench pressing and stuff, but I was just like, who at the moment do I think is a, and when I think strength, I just think of the beast himself. And so I've gone for Mascara.
I have as well.
Hey, just
Can
because
I?
of the way he manhandled Arsenal at
Yeah.
points, I was like, that's basically it.
Can I have another honourable mention?
Gosh, Will.
Oh, I've got two. Look, Chris, I'm
One, I'll give you
chopping and
one.
changing.
I'll give you
Oh
one.
no, no. Oh, I don't know which one to go
Then
for
none.
now.
It's one or none.
Dawson,
Dawson. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. The way
but
he's,
also Lamina. I've snuck my second one in there.
no, delete that from your minds, people. You didn't hear that. That was not allowed. All right. I am gonna move on because you've just broken all of the rules there and showed a complete lack of respect for your elders, Will. So,
My apologies. My apologies.
oh my word. All right. So after strength, crossing, I've got next on the list.
Yeah.
Now, so given that you have thrown in extra honorable mentions,
Yeah, go
I am
for it.
gonna
Go for it.
I'm gonna actually throw a slight curveball of the fact that the reason I've got two here is because one is on loan, but they are still technically a part of our team right now.
Yeah, I know who it is.
So crossing, I've gone for Hugo Bueno
Yeah.
because I do believe that he is a great crosser of the ball. We've seen it time and again,
Yeah.
and I do think it is an excellent part of his game. So arguably, especially if he was in hadn't gone out on loan, he would be my selection there. So I wanted to point that out. But as he is on loan, my other choice, I had to go for the man himself, Pedro Lima.
Oh, really? I mean, he put a lovely ball in the against Burnley, didn't he?
He did, and he put a few good balls in actually in that game, not just the one that led to a goal.
No, yeah.
So and again in pre-season, he put in a fantastic cross for Rodrigo Gomez's goal at one point. So again, my starlet for the season, I'm giving
Yeah,
it to Pedro Lima.
that's a great shout. To be fair, I've just played it safe, and to be honest, I don't even really believe this myself. But I put Sarabia.
Sarabia, okay. No, I
You
mean,
know, because I was just thinking, especially with, um, you know, when we do play a front three, it's usually quite a narrow one at that, and you know, sometimes it's Cunha or Hwang out wide if Larsen's in the middle. And I thought, well, neither of those two are really, you know, beating their man like Bueno would, sort of thing, and then whipping a ball
yeah.
in between the corridor of uncertainty. So I thought, you know, Sarabia for when he set pieces or when he cuts back on the left and hangs it up towards the back post.
I mean, obviously, I love Sarabia because I've given him a few other selections like IQ and the left foot. However, I didn't put him for crossing because in my mind, the amount of times that I feel he should always be amazing at it, given the facets we've already spoken about. But I feel like he's inconsistent in the crossing, and maybe that's one of the reasons why he's not like Manu or someone, is because these amount of times whether it's a corner kick or a free kick, where I'm like, oh great, he's going to get his left foot on this and whip it in, and it just gets the first
Doesn't
man.
beat the first man.
Yeah. And I'm like, come on.
Look,
So
that's why I said I didn't believe it myself. To be
right,
honest.
okay, that's fair. But yeah, so that's why I didn't go for him. But I'm glad you went for my Hugo Bueno, Pedro Lima.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Thanks. I thought of it, so clearly it was amazing. Before we go any further, though, and that we're about halfway through the list, so it's probably a good time just to remind everyone that this podcast is part of the Global Sports Podcast Network, the only network bringing you exclusive daily news and views on your Premier League team, the Premier League, women's football, and fantasy football. A unique listening experience that puts fans first, bringing you the very latest breaking news from your team. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and make us your first listen every day. Global Sports Podcast Network, every club, every day.
Yes.
Oh, nice. One day you're going to get like in sync. There'll be no overlap. It'll just be in unison.
No, yeah, it was just force of habit. I just felt the need to join in.
He's been indoctrinated, people. He's made it all the way now. All right. So we've had crossing. We'll stick on that vibe and go to passing.
Okay.
Now I feel like we're going to get back in sync here. Speaking of in sync. I'm about to do the dance from Deadpool as well, and that's where I'm going because I've gone from in sync to NSYNC in my mind.
Yeah,
and I'm going bye bye bye. Passing, I've gone back to Tommy Doyle.
Yes, I was going to say gimme.
Yeah, he's just we've spoken before about, and I'm going to make Mr. Will sad again.
Oh,
but we've spoken about the fact that he is in that mold again, not the caliber, but the mold of Neves, and he wants to sit there and like splay the passes out and play people in, and he's always looking up and looking for that forward ball. So, and he has a beautiful range so far, I think.
Chris,
so
genuinely, not a day goes by.
I can't. Will, you've got to move on. Even
when we're not recording, just I'll.
I know what'll help you through this is I'll just every day send you a picture of him, of Ruben Neves. And eventually you'll
Is
become
it?
so frustrated by it that you'll just start to dislike
No,
it.
Chris, is it sad that when I wake up in the morning, at the end of my bed is a signed photo?
Oh my gosh.
So when you say you'll send me a picture every day, I wake up every day and just, the first
M-
thing I see.
Maybe this is the problem. You just need to put it in a drawer, Will. You just need to turn that over. Imagine it's a divorcee and you just need to turn that picture frame down,
No,
face
look,
it
if it
in.
was a divorcee, I'd be flying out to Saudi Arabia
Hello? I
and,
don't know where this is going now.
no, I'd just, I'd go crazy.
Okay. All right. Okay. Before we go any further down that rabbit hole, because I'm not sure where we're going to end up in Saudi Arabia, we might never come back. Let's move on to skill. And so for skill, again, I think we will align. I've gone for 8 Nori.
It's that simple, isn't it?
It is that
It's just,
simple.
just some of the things he does on the pitch. And it always makes me think, he's doing that now in front of thousands of people live in action. Imagine like him just having a kick about with his sort of friends growing up
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Because that stuff just comes naturally to you. I mean, don't get me wrong, you practice and get better, but you either have the ability to do that kind of stuff or you don't. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like it can be taught. So I just think, if he's doing that now, you know,
Yeah.
under pressure.
And it's always amazing how some of the interviews with other players, sometimes when they ask, who else in the team would you most like to have the skill of, and they nearly always say 8 Nori, like every single one of them, because it's just that obvious.
Yeah.
And it's that certain moves he's got. They're his thing.
Yeah,
And
I'm
like there's one
picturing
where
now
he kind of
the
like
little drag back and then
there's
flicks
the
it.
drag back one, and there's the one where when he's running past people, sometimes he does this kind of little thing where he flicks it from his left to onto the inside of his right foot and
Yes,
back
yes,
again.
yes, yes,
It's like a
yes.
left. It's like a ping pong ball where he just
All
like
in one
flicks it
motion.
from left to right and
Yeah.
back, and it's fluid. And that's the thing with all of his moves. It's fluid. It's not staccato. It doesn't stop start. It's just constantly in motion, and it's
Yeah.
a beautiful, beautiful thing. Oh gosh, I'm just drooling thinking about it. Not that I'm weird or anything. All right, tackling again. I think we're going to align it. I've gone for João Gomez.
No, I went for his counterpart. I went for Lamina.
Oh, okay. Both. I mean,
Both, yeah.
both exceptional.
There's something about the way. I mean, both of them do it, but slightly differently. When a player's got past them, Zhao will sort of stick that like it comes over the top and round,
Mm-hmm.
almost. Always on the borderline of it being dangerous, but
Dangerous. Yeah.
never quite is.
Yeah. It'll
But
be
Lamina,
interesting to see. Sorry to interrupt you. It'll be interesting
no,
to
go on.
see going forward because obviously we've seen only 5 minutes of Andre in a Wolves shirt.
Mm,
Now it'd
mm.
be interesting to see if we did something like this at the end of the season, if like where he would
Yeah,
come into this
yeah.
in any of these facets, but particularly tackling, for example, because he is in that bracket. In
Look
the
for 20 plus million, I want him fitting on the list somewhere.
well, yeah. But you get what I mean. Is that would
Yeah, yeah.
in mine I've picked João Gomez, and as we mentioned, I think in yesterday's pod,
Mm,
Andre played for Brazil for 85 minutes or 80 minutes, and it was Gomez that came on to replace him
mm.
because that's the way around it is for Brazil. So it'll be interesting to see, for example, in my choice, would Andre knock Gomez off my list in that department because they are basically doing the same thing.
Well, you know how I think it might happen, Chris? I think it might happen when João Gomez moves and
Mm-hmm.
Neves returns to take the number 8 top.
Well, half of that sentence was true, or predicted to be more true than another half.
Dreaming is for free.
But yeah, I do think you're right. That I think the good thing about Andre coming in is that in all likelihood, if João Gomez went, for example, next summer, I mean, I hope he does, and I hope we keep
No,
him
yeah,
for
of
a very
course,
long
of
time.
course.
But if that happens, that we have a replacement already, and arguably a replacement that is more experienced.
Yeah. But sorry, I just want to say the only reason I went for Lamina was just the strength, like the power in his legs when he cuts across attackers.
Mm.
It's just so good. And I don't think it's one of those skills that isn't necessarily appreciated enough by the masses. But I think if you've played football or if you watch, keep an eye out for little sort of niche things like that. It's just very, I don't know, it's very satisfying to watch, I think.
Yeah, and likewise for Gomez. I mean, he's the pit bull
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
reason. The fact
yeah,
that the way he celebrates his own tackles because he just loves the
yeah.
fact that he's won the ball back. You love to see it. All right, finishing. Now this will be interesting to see if we align or not. For finishing, I've gone for Huang.
I get it. It crossed my mind, but I decided against it.
Okay. So you've gone with
Cunha.
okay. All right, Cunha. I can see that. I think whilst he's obviously done really well for us and last season got double digits, which I didn't think he would do, at first. And I think he has improved. He's already got off the mark this season. I think. I mean, the reason I picked Huang is I think he's more of a natural finisher.
Yeah, it's a bit
And
more sort of raw, but
yeah,
in a good way. In a good way.
yeah, and because we are literally pulling out particular facets, we're not looking
Yeah.
at the rest of Huang's game. Just the fact that if he is in the box and he gets a chance, I'm putting my money on him to put it away.
You know what it was for me? I thought about it like if, say, for example, you're playing the Albion, or you're playing a must-win game, and one of them gets sent through 1v1 with the keeper, and I had to pick one to score. I'd pick Cunha. I think
Okay.
but for the opposite reason, Hang's like you said, very raw and natural and sort of instinctive. I
Yep.
went for Cunha because of the opposite of that, him being more sort of precise and perhaps sometimes overthinks things. I think and makes it more difficult for himself than it needs to be.
Yeah.
But he does have some lovely finishes in his locker. I mean, we spoke earlier about the one against Forest when he ran the whole length of the pitch, cuts in, and finesses it perfectly into the top right hand corner. For me, that's just more pleasing, I suppose. But I do get your logic, 100%.
Well, thank you. And again, it'll be interesting to see. And I'm now, the more I say it, the more I'm thinking we should maybe do it towards the end of the season
Yes,
when some of the newer signings we've experienced a full season of them. For example, Strand Larson.
I knew that name was going to crop up at some point during this.
Well, yeah, but obviously, if he doesn't crack this list, especially in areas of like finishing
Yeah.
or heading or something, because we did see, even though he didn't score, it was a good
Mm.
header against Arsenal that forced the save from David Raya. So, for example, again, I want in Dreamland these newer signings to be breaking into this list.
Yes.
So moving on
we?
to heading though on that note. Oh, sorry, go.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, is this the last category?
This is the last one.
Yes, right. It all comes down to this then.
It does. And I think that once again, this will be a match. Okay. Because actually, I give you, since you threw in so many extra honorables,
Yes.
I'm going to tell you who I thought about, who I almost put as my header of the ball. I almost put the Doc.
Yeah, as soon as you said it, I was thinking if I was to have an honourable mention, it
Yeah,
would have been him as well.
But I went, despite Mascara's climbing header for Colombia this week, I went for Craig Dawson.
And that is the correct answer.
That is the correct answer. Thank you.
Yes.
Our work here is done, people.
Yeah, great minds think alike.
They do, except when you're squeezing in extra honorable mentions. But that was it. So we should maybe share those at some point. But I enjoyed that. And definitely maybe later in the season or towards the end of the season, do it and see if any of the new signings crack that list.
Yeah.
And then potentially they're doing a more historical one at some point. But that's going to take a little bit more brain racking because my memory is really bad.
Well, I think if we were doing this off the Nuno era sort of thing, there'd have been so many different answers. I mean, I don't want to go on, but left foot, I would have gone for sort of, Barry Douglas. Weird little names like that cropping up that you wouldn't think of now. I think, there would have been a lot more differences between us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. All right, everyone. I enjoyed that, though. We are going to sign off for the day, but it's been lovely as always. Great to be with you, Will.
Yeah, and you. Thank you.
And we'll be back tomorrow. We should be hosting our crossover episode with Newcastle. And yeah, I know.
Sorry, that just came out then.
I know. Don't apologise. It's fine. You're excited, Will. It's okay. And then on Friday, obviously, we'll do our complete look ahead to the weekend's action.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Have an amazing day. We'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.